I'm okay.
Just subtracted from my pay.
Yeah, for you, I'll take.
All right, so I'd like to call to order the Sewer Authority Midcoastside Board of Directors regular meeting at 7 p.m. Monday, February 24th. Roll call, please.
Director Kowalczyk,
Present.
Vice Chair Alafano,
Walking in my seat, yes.
Chair Harvey,
Here.
Director Lohman,
Here. Director
Boyd,
Here.
Director Lauren.
Present.
Okay, can everyone rise to pledge allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so is there any, before I want to go into closed session early today, but before we do that, I think that we should go ahead and do item number 2. So is there any public comment? I have a couple of, anything not on the agenda. Okay? Catherine?
Maybe you can go.
Brenda, will you?
Too late.
Too
late. Catherine Slater Carter. I noticed there are a couple of interesting items on the agenda, which got me thinking about a question that I had raised a while back. And that is what the cost of the interim manager has been. What the initial training time was, what the hours have been, whether the interim manager has been on site for the whole time, exactly how this has worked. And also if there's any conflict of interest. I know the CIP was changed and that had been worked on for a number of years and so on. So under the code of ethics, I think in doing some research about that this afternoon, I came across quite a bit on A, transparency, and B, conflict of interest. So I'd love to see that as a future agenda item, and with a report on what the costs have been. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Brenda Donald.
Okay, Brenda Donald, 146 2nd Street, Montera. It's nice to see everyone again, and I wanted to talk about 2 interrelated things. One is the recently passed non-domestic waste source control program fee schedule. Just a brief history, I think some of the people here know it excruciatingly well. That Bill Heaslett came in when SAM was formed, and he was an early adopter, and he had workforce development ideas, and he modeled the non-domestic waste source control program after the EPA model ordinance. And he envisioned that position being the position to fill it would be a springboard position for grad students to, learn and go and move on and possibly even, as Gary Valadeo did, become a GM here from the lab. So as time went on, Joan Briotti came in and meticulously and fastidiously looked at the fee schedule and lined it up to an inspection schedule. So every single penny was accounted for, more or less. And you could line it up and at any given time, know what we were doing. And I, appreciate what she did. Every 15 minutes writing a report on what you're doing is not always the best use of your time. But it seems as though as the years have marched on, that the program matured to the point where you didn't really need to account that closely for what you were doing, but it has come to my attention that some of the accountability for the fees and services could use a little bit of tightening up. This is a good program. We spent a lot of time putting it together. I think it was on the agenda every single month for years and years. A lot of brilliant people, really smart people, spent a lot of time on it, and there was consensus. There were some metrics associated with it. 70,000 pounds of grease were kept out of the sewer a year. It cut 15 to 18% of commercial solids loadings due to the garbage grinder ban, back when no one was doing it. So I would like to see for the next one, for the board and the staff, and maybe even the schools, CSM, to get together and think of a way to revitalize it, so it's a better value for the Coastside Chamber of Commerce, for the businesses, because they all had plenty to say about it moving in. And to springboard off of that, the website needs updating. This is something an intern could do, because I tried to access you all through the website, both on Montera and through Sam, and, you know, I got through to Vivian. She was very, you know, we had a brief introduction and talk about this. And then I talked to Clemens too, but I never, to the best of my knowledge, got through to any of you by using the website. So if you would check up on the website every now and again and make sure it's working and up to date, because Paul Berkovic is still listed on an extension, or he was.
No.
He was.
I'm
He was
looking at
not.
it now.
So they might have updated it in the past month, but that would be my suggestion is, if you get somebody in here as a Springport position, they could do stuff like that. They could do outreach, they could make sure everything's getting taken care of. And it is my hope that next round, maybe next November, September, I could come back and see that this is something, a really valuable program that I think could be revitalized by the board and the staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, we'll go ahead and go on with any oral communication.
We're gonna do number 2.
We're gonna do number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to do special order today, receive and file SAM 2012-2013 audited financial statements. Do you want to review that for us quickly? Go ahead, please.
Jennifer Derman with CG Uhlenberg, and I'm the director on the audit. I have a couple of required communications to the governing body. Our responsibility was to form and express an opinion about the July 30th, 2013 financial statements, which we have done. And we've stated they are presented fairly in all material respects and in conformity with accounting principles. We're also required to communicate to you significant matters that are relevant to the audit. We're not required to actually design our audit to find these significant matters, but they come across our attention. We're supposed to communicate that with you. We don't have any such significant matters. We did observe a couple of minor control deficiencies, and we've discussed them with Vivian, as we are permitted to do under our auditing standards, and we did that prior to issuing our report. Our audit was conducted consistent with the planned scope. Our timing was delayed because we had to wait for the OPED report, actuary study to be completed before we could issue our financial statements. We had no significant difficulties or disagreements with management. All adjustments that we found were booked and adjusted in the records. Management did provide us with all required written documentation and representations as we requested, and to our knowledge, did not consult with any other independent accountants. I am required to tell you that our firm also complied with all required ethical requirements regarding independence. There were no significant changes to the accounting policy. The significant accounting estimates that you have in your financial statements relate to your OPED actuary study. You actually changed some of your assumptions. It didn't result in a significant decrease in your obligation, but it did result in a minor decrease in your overall obligation. And your useful lives of your assets are always one of your biggest estimates on your financial statements. I do want to point out on your financial statement disclosures, we did highlight that come June 30th, 2015, you will have to start reporting your unfunded pension liabilities, as all of the government units will have to start doing that year. And we also discussed your OPED cost method changes and the plan changes in the financial statements. That is the end of my presentation.
Okay, board, any questions, comments?
It sounds like the only concern I would have would be, because we're gonna be doing budget very shortly, will we have the numbers we need to do the unfunded pension numbers? Or is that gonna be part of the 14-15 budget?
I don't have, since I always am doing the historical view, I don't have information about your budgeting process. Perhaps one of the other people here.
We're implementing the new numbers into the new budget.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm always, 6 months behind everybody else, right? These are numbers that are important to report properly, but I know you guys are always looking ahead, which is where you should be.
That's all I had.
Any of the board members? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
For which
you.
we have a motion to accept.
Oh,
So we have a motion to
Oh, so
accept.
moved.
Okay, and second?
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to comment for the board, it's kind of like when, when Tony got that NPDES permit renewed without incident. Right now, you've got a clean audit opinion, and it reflects, I think, very well on your staff,
Okay,
and I'd like to acknowledge that.
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the staff, they did a great job, all of you. Any other comments before we, discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so pass unanimously, aye. All right, we'll go ahead and go into closed session, and then we'll come back from closed session and continue the meeting. Thank you.